Okay, as we continue our discussion on addition of vectors, we're going to look at the graphical method of adding two vectors, right? And of course, this method will demonstrate for two vectors, but it can be used for addition of more than two vectors. So let us say we have two vectors A and we have got vector B, and I want to use a graphical method to add them. Now there are two methods. One is known as method of triangle, right? And the other method is method of parallelogram. Let us begin with the method of triangle. In this, we follow these steps. The first step is that draw the vectors in sequence. What exactly this means, I'll show it right in a few minutes. Draw the vectors in sequence and then complete the triangle. The last line, right? The last line which completes the triangle, right, will represents the resultant R of the two vectors, right? So this is a very simple method of addition of vectors. We will just follow these steps. I'll demonstrate it, right? I'll show it over here as to how exactly we do that. So let us say I have two vectors, right? So I'll take two vectors randomly, and let us say this is one vector, right? Now this could be velocity, this could be force, this could be acceleration, right? And let us say this is another vector, right? I'll take a smaller vector in the direction. Let us say this is vector 2. Let us call this as vector A and vector B. Now I want to add these two vectors using the method of using the graphical method, and we are using the method of triangle. So what I do is I draw these two triangles, right, in sequence. So first I'll draw vector A, right? So let us say I draw it over here, right? So I'll draw it over here. So this is vector A. I have drawn. I have taken care of the direction. I have taken care of the magnitude. From the tip of this particular vector, right? From the tip, I will draw vector B, right? So I have to draw vector B. Of course, I have to take care of direction and let me once again cross check. Right. So yes, this is vector B. So I have drawn vector B in this particular direction and same magnitude, right? So I have got vector A and vector B. Now I start from this point and end at this particular point, and I complete this triangle, right? This particular line which will complete the triangle will give me the magnitude of vector A and B. So this is vector A, this is vector B, and I complete this triangle, right? This is the starting point, so you begin from the starting point, and this is the end point, so you begin and end at the end point. So I complete this particular triangle. So this is R, which is equal to vector A plus vector B. So the direction, this gives me the direction of the resultant. Also it gives me the magnitude. If I measure this particular length, right, I'll get the magnitude of vector A, R also, and also I'm able to find out the direction. So this is how we can use the method of triangle to find out the resultant of two vectors, right? Let us look at the second method, which is the method of parallelogram. Method of, I'll use the symbol for parallelogram, method of parallelogram. In this, we adopt this similar method, but a few differences, right? The first step we'll do in this, draw the vectors from a common point. Right. Complete the parallelogram, and the diagonal of the parallelogram represents the resultant R, right? So the diagonal, now the parallelogram will have two diagonals, but in this case we will choose the diagonal which begins from the common point, right? Let us do it practically and see how it is done. So I'll do the same thing again. I have got vector A and B, and I'm using the method of parallelogram. So I'll take vector A, this is 6 centimeter long, and I'll try to draw vector line of 6 centimeter long. So let me go a little bit down. So 6. I have drawn a line 6 centimeter long. So this is vector A I have drawn. Now in this case we draw vector B after vector A. So we're drawing the vectors in sequence, right? In this case we'll draw them from a common point. First, so this is the common point from which I have drawn vector A, and from this point I'll draw vector B. So this is vector B. I'll take care of the direction. So this is vector B. This is vector B. Now I'll complete the parallelogram. To complete the parallelogram, what I do is that I take a line parallel to this and draw it over here, a dotted line, and then this a parallel line over here. So this is how this parallelogram will get completed, right? And now I draw a diagonal from starting from the common point. This is the common point. So I draw a parallelogram. This is the diagonal, right? This particular diagonal, this will represent the resultant of vector A plus B, right? So this is how we use the method of parallelogram, right, to find out the resultant of two vectors. Please note that both the methods will yield the same result, right? If you look at this and this, if you look at the resultant over here and the resultant over here, you can see they are pointing in the same direction and they will have the same magnitude. So you can choose any method that you want to obtain the resultant of two vectors A and B, right? In the next video, we will look at addition of vectors and we will study the analytical method of adding two vectors. Thank you.